Hi guys, so today's video is actually not about books, it's about video games. Whenever people ask me what book got me into reading fantasy, I tell them it wasn't actually a book, it was a video game, and I have loved video games since I was a kid, and I think some video games have phenomenal storylines, and I thought it'd be really fun to not only geek out with those of you who play video games and have played games, but also show those of you who maybe are interested in getting into games what games I think have great stories. Just as a heads up before I get into the games, I am going to only be mentioning games for modern consoles, so that would be in my case PlayStation 4, but there are still great games on PlayStation 1 and 2 and all that stuff and other consoles. So if you guys want me to do this video again with some older games, just let me know and I'd be happy to do it. Anyway, jumping into it with the game that you guys know I'm going to talk about if you've watched basically any of my videos, and that would be The Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt. The main character of this game, Geralt of Rivia, is a monster hunter, and that transfers to video game format because the books did come out first, but it transfers to video game format so well because you go around and you find people who have put up posts about monsters in the area or like weird things happening, and you go find them and then you go kill stuff for them for money. Part of why I love this character and this game so much is just based off the fact that he does that as a profession. It automatically kind of creates a weird moral gray area because he's not your typical hero. He's not going around saving people from monsters. He's saving them from monsters for a price. He is what's called a witcher, that's what his profession is known as, and people believe that they are void of emotions and that they're basically monsters themselves, but as you play the game you discover Geralt deep down is not so bad of a guy, and it's such a great story just getting to see his character development. But the overarching, the main storyline of this game is that Geralt's somewhat adopted daughter Ciri has gone missing. She's been missing for a while, and he's trying to find her. Beyond just having a great story and great characters, the characters' voice actors are phenomenal. They really make the characters come to life. The music is stunning. It's so beautiful. And then the graphics and the scenery is like breathtaking, and it's not even real. Anyway, I'm just gonna go ahead and set this down, otherwise the whole video is gonna be about that game. But kind of fun story, Witcher was the first game I played on PlayStation 4, so my expectations are crazy high now for every game on PlayStation 4, but I'm gonna switch now to a game that was actually the first game I played on PlayStation 2, but you can play it on PlayStation 4 now because they've since remastered it, and that would be Final Fantasy X. As a disclaimer, I have played through Final Fantasy X-2, its direct sequel. We're gonna pretend that doesn't exist. We're just gonna talk about Final Fantasy X because there has never been a game whose ending almost made me cry as much as this one. This is the game that I always tell people got me into fantasy, and it also probably got me into my weird morbid obsession with tragic endings because, oh my gosh, if you guys like tearjerkers and if you like stories with just so much emotional pull, you have to play this game. Because it is a remastered version of an older game, there are some elements that are clearly not as developed as the newer games. There's not an open world format. The gameplay is turn-based, which we've kind of come away from now in modern games, but I think it holds up incredibly. I think it's really fun to play. It is the first Final Fantasy game to have voice acting, and the voice actors are amazing. The graphics back then, it was unbelievable. They were so beautiful, and then nowadays, whenever I go back and play this, I'm like, wow, I forget how beautiful this game is. The storyline though follows the main character, Titus, who gets thrown into this other world, which turns out to be his own world 1,000 years in the future, and is plagued by this creature that constantly comes back. Even if you kill it, it will come back, and it's called sin. Titus does not want to be a part of this world. He just wants to go back to his own time, his own world. He's kind of in denial. He doesn't think it's happening. He meets these people though, whose goal is to defeat sin. They go on what's called a pilgrimage, and they go through all these temples, and when they go to these temples, they learn to summon aeons, and these aeons are what are going to help them defeat sin. Not knowing who else to join with or be with, Titus kind of gets swept along with this group, and there's a bit of a love story in the game. Oh, I'm not even a sucker for romance, but oh my gosh, whenever I think about the love story, I melt a little. And just like with Witcher, this game has some of the most beautiful music. It's just a great game that's very dear to me, and I cannot recommend it enough. Switching now to a game that I actually talked about kind of somewhat recently, and I'm probably gonna say the name of it wrong, and I apologize, but that would be Nier Automata. This game is set in the future where humans have had to evacuate Earth because Earth was taken over by these robots that were sent by aliens. In an effort to get their planet back, humans have sent cyborgs to fight the robots. So it's kind of cyborgs versus robots to reclaim Earth. It's very kind of sci-fi-y and out there, but it raises a lot of really interesting questions on what it is to be human. This game also has great replay value. I've only beaten it once, and you're meant to beat it multiple times, and every time you play it again, you learn new things and you get different perspectives on things, which I think is really cool because it's kind of like if you could imagine taking your favorite book and then seeing the entire book through someone else's eyes. That's kind of a cool idea, and I think it's really cool that this game has done it. I haven't yet played it through again, but I need to, and I think that's a really cool element of it. Next up, we have a game that I apologize, it is a PlayStation exclusive, but I had to include it on this list because its storyline is way out there, but it's so original and so interesting, and that would be Horizon Zero Dawn. This game is, it doesn't seem like there's any possible way to make sense of the way the world is set up. You are in our world very, very far in the future. Like some kind of apocalyptic event has happened, so everybody is now scattered into tribes, almost like the beginning of time, except for the fact that there are a bunch of metal, robotic, animal, and dinosaur-like things that you go around and kill. Our main character, Aloy, is a part of this tribe that really values people's mothers, and she doesn't have one, so she's kind of cast aside and raised by this father-like figure, and she's a little bit of an outcast, but she's a real sassy, and she's got a really big heart, despite the fact that she often is really snarky with people. And she is set on trying to not only mend some problems between different tribes, but also figure out a lot of the inner workings of what's going on with the machines, what caused the machines to act the way they do, what caused them to attack when they do, and you kind of start to learn how the world got to the place it did. There definitely is a trend between some of my favorite games and voice acting and music, because this game once again has both of those, as well as really, oh man, the graphics sometimes, it's like I just gotta stop and like look around because the game really does look beautiful. And the last game I want to talk about, I've misplaced the cover for, so I'm just going to talk about it, and that would be Wolf Among Us. So where Witcher is supposed to kind of show you what might happen after the events of the Witcher books, the Wolf Among Us is supposed to be a prequel story to the comics Fables by Bill Willingham. Fables follows fairy tale people and creatures who have had to leave their homeland and disguise themselves using glamours and live in New York City. In the game, we follow our pretty much the main character, Bigby, who was formerly known as the Big Bad Wolf, and he is now their sheriff detective. The specific plot of the game is kind of a murder mystery. They find someone in Fabletown, is what their little area is called, where the Fables people have come to live in New York City. Someone in Fabletown has been murdered, and Bigby, with the help of Snow, who is Snow White, have to try and figure out who did it. Anyway, that's it for some of my favorite games with great storylines. Let me know what your guys' favorite video games are with great storylines, because I am always on the hunt. It's great to find fun games, but it's hard to find fun games with great stories. So if you guys have suggestions, let me know. If you guys want me to make more video game videos, let me know that as well. But anyway, if you liked the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click the little bell icon to get notified when I post new videos, and check out some more of my videos right over here. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.